Hello and welcome to another day, another stream from IRC. This time it's Singapore in the Challenger Series round 3. In the com box with me is our very moderator Deepakraj, and also streaming for us today is Sir SSGS Hassan. Hello guys.
Yep. Hello. Hi, Nirma. And yeah, it's nice to be back in the streaming tech again with SSG streaming. So yeah, really looking forward to a good race today.
Yep, I'm here as well as I'm just hanging around here, and I hope there will be a good race today. What do you think, Deepak?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you know, the track layout has been modified. There is no more of. I think two of the chicanes have been removed, which I think in theory should improve the racing over there because you're gonna have another overtaking spot. But
Mm.
again, it's still yet to be seen. Singapore always throws a lot of curveballs. A lot of times you had a lot of safety cars. You had some of the longest race trains in Singapore. So
Yeah,
let's see how this Tier-2 handles this street circuit.
yeah. I think Singapore Rouette is infamously known as the most definitely the longest race in a season. So that's what none of us want. But yeah, let's see how much the track changes shave down the time by. I am really curious about this because honestly, I myself have not checked out this new track by any means.
Then you're in for a surprise, I would say.
Okay, so I think people should be readying up soon. So until then, let's take a look at the championship standings. F1. So
Unfortunately, I have. Yep, sorry, carry on.
right now for the Tier 2 championships, it's being led by Utpal in Ferrari by 61 points. Sorry, at 61 points. Second in place will be Solu from Mercedes at 32 points, and third is Neon from Alfa Romeo at 32 points. 32 points. The team standings is Ferrari at 76 points and Utpal carrying that massively with Alfa Romeo Racing at 62 points, which is pretty even amongst the two teammates. And third, it is Mercedes at 45 points.
Okay, so we just saw the weather forecast, and I think the image did not load properly. So even we are clueless as anything else right now. So we don't know, but I think we're in for a wet race today, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, currently it's a bit hard to get the weather because our admins are working hard at programming the weathers and stuff to pop back up. As currently the format has completely changed. So yeah, it's a challenge for them, and they're trying to overcome that.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is new format. Newer formats have grown out, which means that the telemetry package had to be rewritten. And yeah, the programmers did a good job at bringing the telemetry up for us to see some basic results at least. So, yeah, that's a good job from them. And we are on board RB20 is handling a social media profile. So if you don't know that, by the way, just check out our Instagram page. Have a lot of updates going on there. And now that was the part where I was updated that I was talking about. So earlier there was two chicanes going on. Now both the chicanes are gone and just a straight line to the final sector, to the penultimate corner complex. This place could see some more ERS outbursts to make the overtakes done. So really looking forward to how these guys handle that particular change over here.
Mm.
I would also like to go back to Avi20, a social media handle. One thing a lot of people don't know is that we also have a Reddit. We have a subreddit also, r/Indian Racing Community. So if you want to, you can check it out as well. But yes, it feels weird having that chicane missing was the chaos that ensues there is mostly fun. We also have a very special corner in the game now, which is an internal joke in IRC, which is I think safe to not mention it to save our underage viewers from the content. But yes, it's very infamous. Let's just put it at that. Wouldn't you agree, Deepak?
Well, I wouldn't say anything about underage or stuff like that. It's just a collision that brought out an iconic radio message. But let's just leave it at that. And if you guys want to know more about that, you could just join IRC and get in on the joke already.
Of course, if you haven't join IRC's Discord, and then you can get into all the internal jokes we keep making in the com box. So you can go to the description and join IRC Discord, sign up on the website, and then you have unrestricted access to the Discord server to join many 2,000 IRC Discord. As we have yellow flag in section 1, it's always a car slowing down, but then Eric Griffin sets the benchmark time to 131.5. You'll always see times 1.5, if not 2 seconds quicker than that. And then let's see how it goes for now, as we have only 2 drivers in the pits, Neon on outlap, and the rest are obviously.
Yep, Satvik, they're just flirting with track limits. Abhi, as you saw previously, he violated the track limits here and invalidated his lap by going slightly wide over there. The track limit just cuts in that particular corner, and Satvik was also very close to that. But anyway, he comes to the final corner and just stays within the track limits. Could have been a bit more aggressive, but he just puts up a banker lap time. Let's say he puts up 132.1. So it's a good lap, but definitely there'll be a lot more improvements, like you said, Nirma.
Another thing, I don't think anyone remember this, but then I joined IRC, let's see, on December 2019. My first ever teammate in my first ever esports league ever was Satvik Reddy in F1 2019. So yes, throwback to that. I don't think that even he'll remember that. But then yes, we have Arjun Senapati, 130.9. We are already 4 tenths quicker than Eric Griffin. We're actually 6 tenths, as we have added given P2 as well. Pretty good point.
Yep, and also considering the fact that we have a potential weight race in our hands, how much of a setup in place do you think that has? Because I'm pretty sure they will be running a setup that is more favorable towards the wet weather side of things. So I think we might be seeing a slightly slower lap times through.
But also keep in mind it's a street track which is pretty narrow. So if I was one of these guys, I would prefer to have a better qualifying and probably compromise a bit on the setup in the race than the qualifying. I would rather want to qualify my head than overtake in the race, because it's a narrow track.
Well, that's actually a very true point. But again, like I said, some of the track changes have kind of removed those, the parts where it kills the racing action. So uh, it kind of opens up things a little bit. I would say it opens up a lot of possibilities in terms of setup options as well. You can choose to go aggressive, but of course, it's always a high risk, high reward option.
True. I mean, every situation is high risk. Then if it actually ends up being a wet race, you won't have DRS regardless. It's going to be pretty easy to defend. Let's see what the race was. Was it Tier 2? And it's pretty well known that Tier 2 does end up being a bit wild, to say the least, in terms of how much entertainment brings us in the com box as well. Because in Tier 1, you'll see a lot of cheeky strategies going on. In Tier 2, it's full madness. It's fun to watch these guys race with all guns blazing.
Yeah, that definitely is. I think there are a few names that are missing, if I'm not right. But yeah, I mean, we still got a grid of 15, so should be good. Oh, okay. That was
very
it.
interesting. That's interesting, yes. F1 not disappointing us yet again. Abhi taking that pretty consistently. I think his outlap was also that exact same line. And now you
He's just in a hurry to get back into the pits and get prepped for the next hot lap. So we are on board Vinay right now, who is navigating through the opening section of the track, and he goes to turn 3. No problems there. This is also quite a tricky corner, I would say. The lines are quite different. You need to be as close to the walls as you could to get the maximum out of this, which Vinay was not exactly doing. He's still taking it a bit conservatively, but looks all good so far.
As we have, I believe Red Bull was one of the fastest sector 1. The only Red Bull I see was Vinay actually purple sector 1.
Well, the game puts purple for anyone and everyone, and just shows up. It's a game's way of motivating drivers to move forward. But I mean, unfortunately, our telemetry package is not fully up to date, so we couldn't rely on a telemetry package. But for now, let's just assume the game is right. But I am pretty sure that it's not. I'm not really 100% sure of that.
Vinay is one of the veterans right now. Challenges in this Tier 2. He's been racing with us for quite a while in the series. If you haven't, we will have been resuming with our big races from ACC, F1 as well. After the challenge series, if you want to join the madness and the chaos and all of the strategy, smartness, you can sign up and look forward to watching the sign ups open up for the new races, which will probably open up a few weeks after the challenge series to let the drivers warm up on the streets. As we see, Eric Griffin getting very unstable over there. As my cat comes to say hello, and if Eric Griffin gets very unstable on the curb, takes a bit too much, kisses the ball, doesn't even want to win the race because it will give you damage and obviously throw you off. And if there's a driver on the outside or the inside, yep, that's
and the Red Bull just moved out of the way. Satvik getting the last minute. I think he did just enough to not get with an impeding strike on his name. I hope so. But yeah, so far it looks like Satvik is on a good lap, and that's a nice camera angle, I would say. Good to see the whole circuit with the car just navigating through these turns, and seems to be on a neat lap so far. The lines have been pretty decent. Just a little wide.
Exactly. It seems like that's exactly what you said. Carried enough speed. Probably a tad bit wide. This is the corner I always struggle with. I've never gotten this one right. It's hard to say easy. Still 1.1 off from pole. Collision pole, that is. For Arjun Sinapati with 130.9. I'm surprised people haven't gone to 130.5 yet.
Yeah, Satvik looks to have been 9 tenths up on his personal best, so definitely he is improving. He's rampantly improving on this lap, that's for sure.
As taking a look into the chat, we have Steve Martis, who is cheering the Tier 2 boys in the house. We have Advait cheering Aaron and Steve.
And Satvik has gone provisional pole with a 130.4.
There
yeah.
you go. Beautiful lap. If Satvik keeps it on, I think 130.2 or 130.1 is the table.
That lap time should definitely be possible because the track is still not fully evolved yet. We still gonna get the best lap times that we could in the coming few laps. SSA, could you see the time left on the session? It's being hidden by the yellow flags. Okay, I think for a brief moment I saw it was 6.5 minutes left. So yeah, we've still got a lot of we've still got a fairly enough time to go through to see the track evolve and the lap times tumble down. So let's see who's gonna get their lap at the right time at the right place.
Seeing a lot of traffic on the track now with the yellow flags in multiple corners. Now, yeah, there we go. We had a glimpse. 6 minutes left into the session. That was the one thing I wanted to take a look on as we are on Mr. Singh 92. And now we go on to Steel Sneeze 94. Bottom of the pack. Not a place you want to be in a track like Singapore. But it's going to be chaos on to first few laps. After that, obviously the race dies down, and then after the pits, the race comes back alive again. Who is that being backing around? Is that on the track? Possibly the game or his internet is being bonkers. He's moving around.
Oh, this is not really helping anyone.
Yeah, it seems like I was in the rear end, but then apparently just jumping back in front. I definitely hope it doesn't happen in the race because it's going to cause chaos into lap 1 and possibly sector 1 as well because of how close the drivers go to each other.
I mean, if Abhi is just starting his hot lap, this is a really bad time to start a hot lap with a car directly in front of him. So I don't think this is going to be his best hot lap coming so far. Onboard Solo, who is looking to be on is he on his end lap? I think he's on his end lap. Can you just confirm on that?
Yep, he's 22% ERS. Eric Griffin, that is a beautiful move, showing us how it should be done in the race. And Nirma should probably keep an eye out for cars. That's one thing we need to have special awareness.
Yeah, I think Nirvana was kind of opening up the line on the left because that's where most of the cars go. But again, that was just not enough. He should have been stuck to the extreme right and let the cars in the hot lap have a free choice on the line over there. So yeah, that's definitely an impeding report coming in. Eric Griffin goes to the section which was infamously known as the Singapore Sling along to impact, which is not anymore, and he goes the Anderson Bridge. And Steel Sneeze has taken the provision pole with a 130.322. Not a very big improvement, but still, it's there. He's up in Q1 right now.
While we're reaching the end of Q, not Q1, but qualifying, let's take a small time to talk about some of the IRC members who live in Singapore and how lucky they are to possibly witness the Singapore Grand Prix under the lights. Because genuinely, it looks one of the most beautiful beside the Bahrain Grand Prix as well under the lights. What do you think?
I mean, definitely night races are quite nice. I mean, the way the lights just radiate off the car, it's something really nice to see, rather than seeing them in the natural daylight. It really shows them off, the colors and the nature of the, the finish of the colors and everything. So it's really nice to see, and obviously it's nice to have a party also after the race in the night. So yeah, it has got a lot of stuff going for it.
Well, I believe the people in Monaco know how to party after a race because, oh my, the Red Bull boys always have a blast after the race there. But yes, I think one of the few street track circuits I actually enjoy watching and probably doing laps and laps around in hot lap. It's probably Singapore. It's a genuinely fun flowing track.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a combination of challenging tight corners and fast sections as well. So it's not like very monotonous. Let's say like Baku, for example, where there's just a lot of 90-degree corners and stuff like that. So it's kind of a balance, I would say, one of the best street circuits we could get, and it's almost always has been an interesting race in the real life as well. As you know, the last season it was quite let's say bonkers, to be honest, because there's a lot of weather transition and all those things that really threw a spanner in the works for a lot of drivers. So yeah, it's always been a good street circuit providing a lot of action.
While you were speaking, I couldn't stop but notice the three cars in Sector 2. They impeded each other in Sector 1. I really don't hope that it's going to be an upcoming report. Yes, let's just say that the 2021 race in Singapore was interesting. Let's hope we don't see something like that. But now we're reaching the ending of qualifying. People are gonna be going out on a ridiculous out lap so that they can squeeze in the lap time. Dante Adams, please don't do that in the race. That was so close to comfort right there for us in the compounds as well.
Yeah, I mean, the previous few other shots, it looked like he was just hustling the car, and he just goes off the track the minute he invalidates his lap. It's very easy to do it over there because the track limit just cuts in, and you just got to be aware of that white line that is just coming inside, and he just didn't bother to notice it, which means that his lap is down in the bin.
Let's say unpopular opinion, but I think Singapore runners versus can actually do much more better on a controller than a wheel. Because you have so many sharp corners, you can just keep the car on the controller and it sticks. I think we do much more better than a wheel was on the Singapore one. What do you think?
Well, I cannot really comment on it because I haven't really tried this out on a controller, but like I said, I mean, we've got some really rapid drivers on controllers who have been dominating this league. So, I mean, really, I think it's a matter of practice and how much time you're willing to spend to perfect your technique and the lines. That's all it takes, I feel like.
Well, since you mentioned skill, let's also mention that when we had probably a championship winner who was a keyboard warrior. I don't remember who it was or what name, but I remember it was someone from the past season who actually won a season in the keyboard. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't remember someone winning with a keyboard, but I remember, okay, we've got Aaron Gavin going into the 29th now. The first lap in the 29th, we got a 29.8. And I think the person you're referring to is Paras Nirma, and that man won a championship with a mobile phone as a controller.
There we go, yes. Even more hardcore, mobile phone controllers, yes. Persevere and you shall receive. And Aaron Gavin, GG at the dying minutes, the dying seconds of qualifying, he manages to get a 129.8. Like I said, I was surprised I haven't seen these guys like touch 30 flats. And Aaron just goes there and goes into my favor, 129.8. Good luck. He's almost half a second quicker than the entire grid. That really shows what Aaron can do in the race, just straight on pace. Since he's only starting on pole, and since I mentioned on another track, if it actually ends up getting
That
So
was
for
a
now
sketchy
that
moment.
he is going on a dry setup as compared to the other grid who might be going on a bit of compromised wet setup, I probably will have my money on Gavin because if the DRS is disabled, he might have better chances of fending through the corners and getting a better exit and just flying off.
That's going to be a bit of a let's say, like I said at the earlier stages, it's going to be a high risk, high reward kind of a thing if he's going with a dry setup. So he's probably betting on the dry window being a bit longer than the wet stages of the race. So let's see. I'm not really sure about the setup aspect because there is a lot of potential to even do a lot of mistakes in this lap. There's a lot of corners. It's very easy to do a single mistake that will compound and lose you a lot of lap time. It could be just that he just got his perfect lap in and everyone just struggled with traction or their lines or whatever it is. But uh, yeah, but whatever it takes at the end of the day, Aaron Gavin is on pole right now with a 29.8, beating Steel Sneeze by 4 tenths in a comfortable manner. Who's in P2, setting up 30.322. Satvik Reddy is in P3 with a 30.4, followed by Arjun Senapati in the Alpine, Eric Griffin in the Williams, Neon in the Alfa Romeo in P6, Abi in P7, Solo in P8, Guni 9, Nirvana in P10, rounding off our top 10 of the grid, followed by Mr. Singh in P11 and Mist in P12, teammates starting alongside. And we got P13 Vinay in the Red Bull, and P14 was a McLaren. I think I'm not really sure. I didn't really get that name proper. Sorry for that. Oh, and it looks like we're going to have a wet race start. It's pouring down, properly pouring down here.
There you go. Uh, it's going to be interesting to see how the top three, at least in this case, do straight out on the wets because I think Aaron might be running a bit of a dry setup. But yes, no DRS now. Let's see how the drivers do under such treacherous conditions because they were struggling to set up a proper quali lap on the dry conditions. It's only I don't know what it's worth debating how they do under wets because even the tier one drivers struggle under wets. And a track like Singapore where you have no runoff area and you're like I don't know dependent on the sim racing gods if you get terminal damage or you just get light wing damage.
Yeah, I
As we
mean, it is just one of those tracks where, not having runoffs could actually be a bit of a problem for you because you might not be involved in the incident, you're just an innocent bystander, but when the cars that are crashed have nowhere to go, obviously it's going to be a very big problem for you. And as you know, the game's ghosting can be a bit unreliable at times. You never know when it will ghost, when it will not ghost. So you can't just go through the wreckage hoping that you'll just go through the ghosted car. Sometimes it just takes some time for the ghosting to kick in, and that could very well put an end to your race. And yeah, drivers have got to be very cautious about incidents in the opening lap. And of course, this being a wet race start means that if the drivers have their graphics highly turned up, I think it's time for them to turn on at least their particle effects because it's going to be a lot of vision blockage in the wet race.
as we wait for the drivers to make the final few adjustments they can, we are going to be waiting for the race to begin.
Right, we are on the grid, and I do believe we have a formation lap this time around. Thankfully, the feature is functioning fine. So we are on a formation lap. The drivers are gonna have to warm up their tires and make sure they line up on the grid in the proper manner. So right now they've got the option to set up their car in the grid in a proper way, pointing left or to the right, so that they could fine tune their starting direction. And so far, the entire grid seems to be going onto the wets except Mr. Singh. Oh, and there is a contact on the formation. Now, that is not going to end well. And both of them have been disqualified. We got three disqualifications already, and they're going to be sitting with some very, very ice cold tires on the race car. That's not something that they're going to be wanting for. So, Mr. Singh has gone to the intermediates, which not really sure will be the right option because the entire grid is on the wets, and it's a very interesting choice. I would say it looks like a very aggressive choice, but it's gonna be tough for the first few laps. That's for sure.
There may be something that Mr. Singh knows that we don't, since he is driving on the track and we are just looking at him, right? Let's just, I don't know, let's keep an eye on him for the next 5 laps. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. But then I would say the first few seconds of the track and the collision on the formation lap is probably foreshadowing what we are to expect in this race. I am gonna bet 3 DNFs for this race. What do you think? 3
I
DNFs and
don't
2 safety cars.
I, I really don't know. The lesser of that we see, the better. So I just hope none of that happens. But of course, we know it's Singapore and it's wet, so there's gonna be something that you're gonna have to expect. But let's see. But whatever it is, like just getting disqualified in turn one in itself means that your tires are gonna be sitting and without any kind of heat for a long, long period of time, and these guys are gonna have properly warmed up tires, while the guys who are sitting on the grid right now are gonna have proper ice blocks for the tires. So yeah, the start is definitely going to complicate things even more. Interesting track limits there, and he hits the
And this is the
wall.
wall. I think we get damage as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you do.
I think it was this AI because the AI takes control much earlier. So I think it was the AI.
No,
And
no, no, no. The
doesn't
drivers have control until they line up in the grid box. You can see he's pointing his
all
car to the
right.
right side.
Oh
So
yes.
yeah,
I don't
there
see
seems
any
to be
visible
some
damage.
problem. I'm seeing a lot of message banners saying the drivers are leaving or something of that sort. I hope everything is all right. So far, everything looks good. So let's see.
I didn't see any visible damage on the Ferrari. So let's just hope everything is all okay. As we are now coming up to the final 4 drivers lining up onto the grid. Game looking ever so beautiful, but we just hope that they fix the game as Avi has disqualified from the session. Probably the formation left disqualification. Hopefully, yes, it is. As we are now going to wait for the 5 red lights, 4, 5 red lights, and we are lights out, and away we don't go as the Alpine
What's
has a
going
drive
on?
the penalty for a jump start, and now we are lights out, and away we go, and we are virtual safety car, and I am
I
lost for words.
don't know. Because the lights went out, the Alpine moved, but Mist got a jump start penalty, and now you got a VSC for I don't know what reason.
Arjun Senapati does not get a jump start penalty, even though he did, but then missed gets one.
Technically,
That's
he didn't move after the 5 lights went out in our screen at least. So he was in the right according to what we saw. But I mean, this is kind of confusing for me right now. Oh, we got a 5 second collision already.
it's pretty interesting. Let's check if they are restarting the lobby, if this is actually what's going to happen in this
This
race.
does not look good, to be honest. This does not look good.
And we have yellow, ignoring yellow flags, and we have damage
Ah,
for the car. I think there might be a lobby restart on the books. What's going on? I have no idea. As we have a Mercedes wave back in the grid.
yeah, and Steele's knee just went back into Aaron Gavin and lost his front wing end plate. So I think this could be a restart on the cards. We'll have to check the tier lobby chats to see what's going on. But no, not really sure.
Is there any confirmation what's going on?
I think we are in for a restart. The drivers have just now received an instruction to retire from the lobby in the stay the session. So I think chances are we are going to be restarting the race with the quali order as it is.
Interesting, because in the past 2 races that I've got it commentary for tier 1, it was 100% success rate for lobby restarts, and I see the same thing over here as well.
Well, that's what this whole series is for, to find out the kings and find out what's the problem so that we could, get to have a proper season in front of us. As you know, this game, it's not exactly got the most a spotless record in terms of having glitchless gameplay. But I mean, this game seems to be a bit of an improvement from the last, but still certain, let's say, skeletons are still there in the closet. So uh, anyway, we'll see how we could handle this. Probably we'll be having a restart and should be having a good race after that.
Well, we sit here and look at the Will Be Right Back screen. Let's talk about, I don't know, the upcoming race in F1. While I use Google and the power of typing to figure out what the next race is. Oh, but look at that. It is Singapore, 1 week down the line.
Interesting.
It is Singapore, 1 week down the line. So let's talk about Singapore and what do you expect in Singapore, except the dominance of Max Verstappen, of course.
I mean, that is always going to be a case, but I can see being a street circuit can throw up some surprises. Uh, as you remember, the last year, I mean, he had a little issue with the quali program, and it was out of fuel, and he had to come into the pits. So street circuits are always a bit tricky. It always throws a lot of interesting challenges at the drivers and at the teams. In terms of let it be strategy or how they manage their stints and everything. So uh, I would say, I mean, I wouldn't say Verstappen could be beaten there, but if there is a chance of beating Verstappen, I think you could say maybe that track is one of those.
You know what I have to say for that?
Go ahead.
Max, super, Max, super, Max.
It has been a bit of a max train this season, but let's see. Let's see.
Let's just hope that Lewis Hamilton comes back to his former glory. Because let's be honest, yes, Lewis's domination was a bit annoying for some people, but then at times Lewis Hamilton did have Vettel and Verstappen at times challenging him for the race wins. Yes, he dominated, but then he also had people who challenged him. But right now, the Max domination is in its utter domination.
Well, it is true, but at the end of the day, the same narrative that when Mercedes dominated goes around. It's not the fault of the driver or the team that the other teams are not catching
Yes.
up. So
Yes, I
it's
mean that
it's.
was. I think it was Hamilton who said
I
that
really
in
wish
one of the interviews.
Mercedes. I really wish Mercedes and Ferrari really catch up because they seems to be on the verge of it, but Red Bull just seems to be having an ace up their sleeve every single time. So
Okay,
yeah.
I'm a tifosi, and this might anger some Ferrari fans, but I don't think Ferrari as a team has the discipline of what it takes to be world champions again. For me at least, from what I've seen, they are completely dependent on their drivers as regards to the entire team. Because look at Mercedes, they have the entire team, they have the pit crews, and then they have the drivers. And Ferrari, we have seen the strategies that have been going on, and it's usually the drivers at this point who make the strategies. So I mean, for me at least, as long as Ferrari undergoes an entire management change or a management revamp, I don't think Ferrari has what it takes.
Some hard introspection there, but again, I really can't comment on that because I'm not in the scene or don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So, but yeah, it has been quite a tough season for them. It's like there's been a lot of uh, a lot of questionable decisions, let's say, from the last season, and of course, the for the ones when they got the car right, the technical directive regarding the floor height did not really help them. Really messed up their cars and their general ability of the car to be a good contender up front. So really feel bad for them in 2022, but they definitely got to get their game together, like you just said. So uh, I wouldn't really write them off until then. So it's really there.
While I do a short Google on Daniel Ricciardo's wrist fracture, what do you think of how long he might be out of the game?
Not really sure, considering that wrists are very important for steering and everything, and there's a lot of forces that go through the wheels. I'm not really sure, but again, these guys are some of the strongest athletes that we know who have access to some of the best healthcare and everything. So we've seen people recovering from worse injuries and just coming back. Uh, if you have been following MotoGP, last week in the Spanish round, the race leader who's the world championship leader who was riding for Ducati, Francisco Bagnaia, had an incident and a bike ran over his legs. So he had to undergo some medical procedures. And this week in Misano, he is back on the bike racing. So these athletes are just some of the strong-willed athletes you see. So you never know. But again, since it's a wrist injury, it could put him out of action. But again, I'm not really sure. I'm not a physician to comment on that. But really looking forward to seeing him back on the grid because, I mean, he just got his chance to come back and then being taken away in a short period of time just seems a bit cruel. So let's see.
I mean, I'll go back to something what I heard in the 12 hours of battles. The racing gods take it and the racing gods give it. The racing gods took away Daniel Ricciardo's comeback opportunity in F1, but then it gave it to Liam Lawson, who I think
Yep.
right now is doing pretty well. So, yes, the heart aches for Daniel Ricciardo, but then you have Liam Lawson. So,
Yeah, he
is
has
it really
been.
a bad thing as of now?
I wouldn't say a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing if you're a Ricardo fan and if you're Daniel Ricardo because you got a young, talented potential in Liam Lawson, who has always been touted for the Red Bull seat. So he's now getting a chance to prove his worth. So it's going to be a very interesting choice for the Red Bull team to make, and it's also a really interesting phase for them because they now got a chance to test out Liam Lawson and see if he's actually worth the FN grid. But also, do not underestimate Liam Lawson. He has been an absolute force of nature in racing. Manages won every single season that he has participated in. The first season itself, every single racing discipline. So yeah, definitely he is going to make a case for his promotion up to the Red Bull ranks.
Also, don't forget his first season in DTM, where he almost won it and he went against the likes of Kevin Van de Garde and Maximilian Kotz. Yes, the final race was pretty controversial. Contact between Van de Garde and Liam Lawson, which put Liam Lawson out of the race. Maybe Garde as well, I'm not sure. But then that season, Kotz ended up winning the race. But then it really shows how talented Liam really is. If Red Bull even doesn't consider giving an F1 seat to correction, if they don't consider giving Liam Lawson the seat in F1, at least he can try his luck in GT3.
Yeah, I mean Red Bull Racing is they got their hands up in all the motorsports. So it's not like I mean I do understand that the comment that the Red Bull are literally driver killers when it comes to F1. But generally speaking, if you're signed up a Red Bull program, chances are you're going to end up somewhere in the motorsports world. You might not be in F1, but you're definitely going to be placed in some motorsport category. So I would say if you're going to get signed by Red Bull, then yes, you're some of the lucky few members there.
Let's not forget Alpine was also driving a GT3 car at one point. It was doing pretty well as well. So, in the end of the day, if you aren't just restricted to open wheelers and you're signed by Red Bull, that's pretty good because then you can experience the different disciplines of motor racing as well. I would say GT3 should be your next goal if F1 is probably not achievable in the short term goal. But I think Red Bull seriously looking into Daniel Ricciardo with the experience he brings on the table. But let's see. It will be really amazing to see Daniel and Liam in the same team because I think Liam has what it takes, if not more, as compared to Yuki Tsunoda. But then we have seen drivers who did good in their rookie season and then just fall off later on. It's just been pretty consistent the past few years.
I mean, it's just a different ball game. F2, it's all about I see engines, spec cars. Now that is a full assessment on your driver skills and everything. But you come out to F1 and it's a completely different ball game. You got cars of differing capabilities. You got a hybrid system that you're gonna have to manage. You got the tires to manage. There's a lot of things that are completely different, which is definitely going to catch a few drivers off guard. Some drivers just get on top of it as soon as they could, but some drivers take a season or two, like Yuki Tsunoda for that case. He was quite good in F2, but when he came to F1, he was quite infamous for crashing and having a very loud mouth, let's say, in radio messages, which always provided some fun viewing for the audience. But definitely, I don't think that would have been a good case for the engineers and the team members who are working who are trying to get some valuable feedback. So things like that always going to happen, but usually they just turn out to be, in good hands.
Let's not forget about Brendan Hartley in this case. For us viewers outside the box, is it raining outside my house as well? No, it's not. Okay, I felt like it was raining outside my house as well. But yes, before we begin the race, let's go back to Brendan Hartley as well. For us viewers, he wasn't as good of a driver as we expected him to be with the experience he has in motorsport. But then behind the scenes, he gave valuable input to then Toro Rosso and now Alpha Tauri to what they are later on and how competitive they actually became. So I think I would want drivers like those, and the team who can give me valuable feedback if I am a team principal. Unfortunately, I am not. Hopefully, in the next life. But yes,
Yeah, feedback is a very important part of the whole improvement process. I mean, you can't improve your car or make any changes until the driver gives you proper feedback. I think one of the drivers like Vettel is known to give like extensive feedback. We've had some team principals commenting that he's known to have like very long debrief sessions where he gives feedback on like small pointers. So it's always nice to have such an extensive feedback. But anyway, we are back on the grid, and I guess we are having a formation lap again, or is it a race start?
no, it's a race start, 5 lights out, and away we go as we
Oh,
have contact with the Red Bull and the Alpha Tauri, the sister teams having a contact. The McLaren somehow missing it out as the Alpine between the Haas sandwich. We have a Haas and the Alpine going off the track now. Correction, that was a Williams. As now we still have the Alpine on the outside, kissing the wall and then swiping the Mercedes, keeping the Mercedes straight on. But then the Mercedes do the 180 and he crashes into the wall. I am breathless, but there's still so much going on in the back of the grid. Probably 5 cars already back. As we see on the track map, 2 Williams, 1 Haas, 1 Mercedes.
I think we have a VSC. Yep.
Now the VSC seems justified at this. That was a ridiculous start between the sister teams of the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull. I wonder who it is.
You know what this entire thing reminds me of? I
Go
think
on.
you might have seen that meme where a man just steps on a stake and hits his face first, and another man, and another thing, he just does like full extensive skateboard tricks and still ends up with a stake hitting his face.
Oh,
So,
yes.
oh, he's so fall. Oh no, that's not gonna help his case. He's already damaged, and is he trying to DNF on purpose? Because it
And
looks
it
like
doesn't
he's
seem
just
like it
sitting
was
on the wall.
he accelerated on the curb, so it was not traction anyways at all. And he has no wings. And look at the torrential wind going on. And Mr. Singh, as you mentioned previously, has fixed his
Oh,
mistake
what is
and has
going on
gone
here?
on to pits.
We
And
have
we
green flag,
have
and the guys are bunched up.
it's a
My
Ferrari
God.
sandwich. It's a Ferrari sandwich.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of reports. I really feel bad for the stewards here, but Steel Sneeze has got away. He's in the lead right now, followed by Aaron Gavin, and Satvik is having a moment there. He looks to be hustled out, and both the McLarens are out in the escape road, so not doing well for them. And Abhi has retired from the
Abhi has
session,
retired, yes. Yeah, there he was, and he has died and gone into the
and we got a
pits.
safety car.
Oh, this is. No, no, this is not the. I don't know. I don't know how to say it without. I don't know. Making the
Definitely
Tier
not
2
the race
drivers
that definitely not
angry,
the race that
but
we expected to see. That's for sure.
it's not the cleanliness or the racecraft we expected. But, you know, benefit of the doubt, it is wet in Singapore. Let's
But
just take it.
I still couldn't comprehend what happened at the VSC window there because the cars were like in double file over there. Like they were just jostling for space in the VSC condition on the exit of Anderson Bridge. I mean, that I really don't know what was going on there. Was it some gamesmanship going on? I don't know really what was happening. See, Vinay is in the pits for a wing change, which he has to do without all the damage going on around.
Vinay goes into the pits and his teammate Titan, who just kept flopping around like a fish around walls. It's not wicked, okay? Sorry. Okay, oh my god, okay, he goes to the right time. Now we have
I
gone
think
back.
Arjun Senapati's car is still ghosted. I think he might not be in the session.
It seems like it's a mystery far off distance.
Yeah, Arjun Senapati's car is ghosted. Yeah.
Yep, it is, yes. Well, may so rest in peace.
And his AI gets a 5-second penalty. Oh, he's not gonna love this when he joins back.
AI is pretty well known for doing ridiculous stuff, pitting on the safety car for a ridiculous tire strategy which completely ruins your race. Not that I have experienced this in the previous games I have in it, and I completely thrown into depression multiple times. I do remember disconnecting right before the race started. The AI takes over, and I kid you not, it takes one driver out in China, and I had to give my screen recording to prove it wasn't me and the AI. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing to say the least.
It's a tough job.
Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Aaron Gavin was P1, right? Was it still Sneeze? No,
Aaron Gavin wasn't P1.
yes, and he has lost his P1 now. Sadly, it's a Ferrari stunt. A Ferrari factory team with a Ferrari customer team, and now a Ferrari factory team in P1, P2, and P3. As we come back into the stream, it seems like it's going to be a slow start. Drivers are warming up their tires for now. We have still 5-6 cars who have not joined the train yet. So probably 2 more laps before we are back in race mode. I don't think the last 2 cars of Sync and Titan can join. They're back. Wait, did Titan actually spin out? Because Titan was ahead of Sync. And Eric Griffin has
really understand what's going on at this moment.
A question to you who frequently races on F1. Is it possible to take the wets till the very end as we have seen Ocon do it?
It is a tough, but it's a kind of on the doable, within the doable realm. But again, it is tough.
As we have multiple people getting multiple pits, corrections.
Speeding in
there you
pit
go.
lane
He's
now.
gone.
That's a very infamous penalty in Singapore pit lane. So as you know, the pit lane speed limit is 80 kph, but in narrow circuits like this, the pit lane speed limit is 60. So when you engage the pit limiter, it goes to 80, and then the actual pit limiter is 60, which is up front. So this has been a known issue in this track for a long time, but I think that issue is still there. I feel like.
And looking at the bit of Titan, it sums up what I assumed happened. Titan was ahead of Mr. Singh while they were racing to catch up the queue of the safety car. He spins and Titan goes to the back of the grid with a full damage ring. That was on the safety car conditions. I just can't imagine what's going to happen to the race under racing conditions. Let's just say Mr. Singh should be counting as lucky stars right now since he didn't start this race with intermediates as he did in the last race. As Eric is joining a leading position again, I hope he joins before the safety car comes in this lap. Oh, I think it's going to be in this lap.
I mean, the game gives the safety car out maximum 3 laps. Or it either waits for the pack to catch up, or at the end of third lap, it just go in. So, I think since it came with the lap one, yes, this should be the last lap. Let's see. It looks like Arjun Senapati has joined back. He's in for a very rude surprise right now. And Titan gets another penalty. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him right now. He's getting a DT penalty for speeding under safety car. So he is really not following the delta for the looks of it.
The delta does throw you off. I remember getting one in Hanoi 2020. I think it's another one.
Something seems to be off with the delta or whatever. He seems to be slowing down randomly, and yeah, the delta is definitely really bad.
Can you get 2 drive-thrus stacked up on top of each other?
I really don't know, and I really don't want to find out.
I mean, if that's the case, I don't think it's any worth getting this race down for Titan since you can't unlap yourself as well in F1 2023 or any F1 game. That's race gone for Titan. And we essentially only have like 13 drivers who might be in the contention for a good race at this point.
I mean, being P-last is not an issue, but getting a DT now, that is going to take some kind of miracle for him to get back into the competitive territory, so it's very tough for him to do it.
No safety car in this lap.
Okay, now the safety car pulls off, and the steel sneeze is effectively our safety car. Right now, he's going to be dictating the pace, and I really hope we don't see a repeat of the VSC restart that we saw. But let's see what kind of restart he goes for. He's right now slowing down, although not by a lot. He's still slowing down. He's bunching the pack up. How the
Also, keep
ghosted
an eye
car of
on
Eric
Eric Griffin
Griffin
as
still
well.
there.
Exactly, keep an eye on Eric Griffin as well. Let's see what the AI does if it actually fits in this lap for some weird reason.
I think Eric Griffin joined, but I don't know why he's still not able to take control of his car for whatever reason. And I think Steel Sneeze has gone for it. He has gone off. Has a few squirry moments here and there, but he just gets going. He's got a good restart. And behind we see 2-3 cars jostling for position. Oh, and the Mercedes catches shot into the stick again, and he's facing the wrong way right now. That was really bad. It was like 2-3 wide or something, 2 or 3 wide in the final corner, and that did not really end well. And oh, Haas is just push that McLaren out of the way, and yeah, these guys just clapping it out, giving it their all right now.
Solo gets taken out again. I think it was Solo in the race start as well, since it's the only Mercedes, and he gets taken out again. Not a race start that
Oh,
Solo
and the
wants,
Red
and the
Bull
Red
behind hits
Bull
the wall.
of
That's Vinay.
Vinay has gone and hit the wall. Not the race. Did he just reset back to back? Question mark.
I'm not sure. I don't think he reset the track, but anyway, the coordinators will be having a look at that. I don't think he reset the track though. But oh, these guys are definitely not having the best time of their lives right now. They're just struggling for grip left, right, and center. And I think Vinay has called it a day, and we got another safety car. Come on.
Yeah, not an enjoyable race for the drivers. It's chaotic. It's
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm okay with the chaos, but I mean, just seeing safety cars just after safety cars, it's really not fun to be honest. Looks like we're in for a long stint today, boys.
Go back and pit falls into silence on the safety car. Yep, streets of Singapore, the night lights of Singapore under rain conditions does not seem to be playing well for the boys.
And speaking of street circuits and everything, I don't know if you've been following the news recently. Apparently, they are making a street circuit in Chennai that's going to be raced in December, and it's going to be in the night race apparently.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Chennai is the home of motorsports in India. We've seen so many amazing drivers come out of Chennai. You've seen, if you just look at the south of India, the culture of motorsports, the way they treat motorsport, it just shows you the love they have for the sport, and it's just beautiful to witness. I remember going to, and we are taking a break, but yes, the south of India, they are the people. That is something. I don't know. It's good to look at how much love they give to the sport, and it's just wonderful to see.
Yeah, and apparently it's going to be a part of the proposed F4 calendar. If you don't know, there's going to be an F4 series happening in India with along with another racing series called the Indian Racing League. So yeah, they're planning to use that proposed street racetrack by December. So I'm really looking forward to that. And considering it's a night race, again, I'm saying that I'm hyped up is very much of an understatement. And we see the pack is still spread out, and we just saw, I think there was a McLaren of Dante Adams making a pit stop for a fresh set of wet tires, and I think SSJ was just going to the intermission screen just so that he could invite one of the drivers, Eric Griffin, back into the lobby. He's been having some issues. Oh wait, and this is a new penalty I'm seeing. Nirvana has got a DT for falling too far back. So I think he has not been maintaining the 10 car lengths in the train. So he's got TT for that. Now this is, I really don't know what to say. We're seeing all kind of penalties being coming out right now.
You must be scratching his head because we've seen 2 penalties. Titan with the double stack drive through. That was hilarious to watch. I'm sorry for laughing at your misery, Titan. But Nirvana getting penalty for falling far too back. The game does throw a warning at you, if I remember.
Yeah, once you
From
catch up
21.
to the car up ahead, you need to maintain the 10 car lengths. If you fall far too back, it gives you immediately a timeout to catch up, and if you don't catch up within that time, it's gonna slap you with a DT, and that's exactly what happened to Nirvana right here.
I don't think I've seen anyone get a D3 for falling forward too back. People usually catch up with that time, but there's always a time for first times, and Nirvana.
Yeah, like I said,
just got it.
I have not seen that category of penalty. I mean, in all this race streams, so this is the first time seeing this kind of penalty being thrown up.
All I can say is rest in peace to all drivers getting involved in incidents. And Solo, let's just point it out there, is not having the drive that he wants, and Titan gets another 5 seconds time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
This race isn't really going anywhere for Titan. He's just going down and down and down.
As if he couldn't have gone much lower than where he is. Not the race for the Mercedes of Solo, the Red Bull of Titan, and the McLaren of Nirvana.
Interestingly enough, we haven't still had one full lap of green flag racing.
Oh yes. Good thing that you pointed out. Word was sad, I don't know at this point. Just,
It is a bit sad. I mean, I know for a fact that the drivers are much more capable than this, but I think the conditions and the tight nature of the track are not really helping. The case here. I think KTR came out at lap 5, and still 1 or 2 cars are yet to catch up. So I guess you're gonna have one more lap of the safety car, and it should be green flag after that. Let's see how that restart goes along. So Nirma, have you tried this FN23? Have you ever got a chance to try it out?
Unfortunately, no. After a certain personal experience I've had with a personal something, I kind of have taken a hiatus from sim racing. And then I've stopped F1 in general after getting more involved with ACC. But I've been hearing some good things about 23, about how it's going in the direction of what 2020 and 2018 was. It was one of the few games that people really love to drive around. So that's what I've heard. I've heard good things about 2023, at least for now. And then bringing cross-play as well. That's a very good direction that Codemasters are taking this game into.
And we've got one more retirement from the session. Titan 23 has had enough of taking penalties. He's decided to go home.
Yeah, I mean, there was no point at that point. He had a DT, he had a 5 seconds stacked on top of that. And Mr. Singh gets another DT for falling far too back. This is really not looking good, man.
Yeah, this is definitely a glitch because he had never caught up to the safety car pack to begin with.
Yeah. Not looking good at all.
And welcome back, as you said.
Yeah, hi. Sorry that I've been muted all this time. I was having my lunch. Still am though. Yeah.
I understand you're having a hectic time right now, so I'll just leave it to you.
Yeah, with streaming and coordination. Yeah.
I think he's getting another TT. I think.
Yeah,
your question has been answered. He's got a stacked TT.
Can we please switch to some other car, because looking at Mr. Singh and his misery is just too sad at this point. But yes, for the viewers, before we start the race, what are having for lunch?
Mutton biryani.
Oh, proper Sunday feast.
Chicken biryani supremacy, please.
Chi. Mutton biryani is best any day.
Alright, we'll leave that for the viewers to decide later. Right now,
Viewers are more interested. viewers like Parth are more interested to break the 5 safety car record. I, on the other hand, am more interested to have a debate on chicken biryani versus mutton biryani. Which we will
Okay,
in
give
the
us in the
final few
comments.
quarters.
Give us in the comments. Just put what is your favorite, and let's just get on with the green flag, shall we? So Steel Sneeze
No,
is
sir,
once
you will
again
not have
going
more
with
than
the
half a
restart.
lap of. You won't have more than half a lap of racing from what we have seen for now.
Nah. Let's keep
But
our fingers crossed. And this restart seems to be much more in order, although a bit spread out. So Steel Sneeze has once again got a really good launch, and behind we've got Arjun Sinapati and Eric Griffin following close together. I think this time Eric Griffin was able to join the session properly, so that's great. And Nirvana is just really into the pits. I think he had a DT in his name. I think he's just serving his DT. Not sure.
yes, he had a DT on his name as well as.
Oh, and the
Mr.
Alpine has a moment there.
It must be this time. It's going to be interesting to see if Mr. Singh actually has a stacked D3. But yeah, yellow flag sector 1. I saw there was a car spun around, or maybe a small contact. I don't know who it was.
I think it's just an ignorable contact, and we see Satvik is trying to make a move on Aaron Gavin, and he's right around the outside. He's still hanging it on around there, and he's now on the inside line. And are they going to replicate the moment? Nah, they are not. They back out properly, and Satvik has got the move on Aaron Gavin. That was quite interesting to see. That was a really good move there. Just hung on the outside on the curb, and we see a car that's stuck over there. Oh, that's that's the house of Guni, and he has lost his entire front wing there. So yeah, going good for him. And we got a VSC again. Come on.
Not something we want to see. But then while we're on the VSC, something about Guni a lot of people don't know. He is a writer for sports magazines for F1.
Ah, interesting. I did not know that.
So a lot of IRC peeps keeping their talents hidden and not showing up themselves, but then I in the com box will undo their
we
plan
have another
of theirs.
safety
And the
car.
very journalist that I was talking about highly of writing for motorsport journals, Guni has undid all of that and then DNF'd. I'm sorry, but then you just brought your own reputation down. I'm sorry, I'm just joking, but yes, he is. DNF, yeah, 4 DNFs now, not even halfway through the race.
I'm not sure if he retired on track or he had a collision, but I think it's more of a retiring on track. I mean, I can't speculate right now, but that's what it looked like because he lost his full front wing and just the next thing you're seeing is DNF. So yeah, I really hope it was not retiring on track. So this is our third safety car, and still no full green flag racing yet, which is very disappointing for us to see as well. And yeah, it is being a very tough job commentating for this because we just gotta put a lot of fillers on this. Not gonna lie.
I can just go take a break, have a bottle of water, and come back in a minute or two.
So just have water.
Yeah.
As we have the Alpine stack.
That's an AlphaTauri double stack, and that's not helping.
And
that was certified Fernando Alonso moment.
Yeah, wait. Let's just go see how many DTs man has got today. Oh, he's got only 2 drive-throughs.
What about Mr. Singh?
Mr. Singh's got no drive-throughs? How's that?
What?
There was one entry that said 2 penalties plus 1 warning.
According to the game, only Nirvana is the only driver who's got DTs.
No. You see, Mr. Singh has got 2 DTs. That's why I think it's not showing up. Check the lap entry, it's showing 2 penalties plus a warning or something like that.
So Mr. Singh has managed to break the game, but taking so many DTs that game decided no DTs for you. But yeah, we have a detailed report here. So it's 2 DTs for Titan so far. I'm sorry, we're looking at Mr. Singh now. So
yeah,
he's got
Mr. Singh got 2 DTs for the same reason, falling too far back.
Yeah, I have no words. But yeah, a lot of drive-throughs being dished out today. 2 from Titan, 1 from Nirvana, 2 from Nirvana, and 2 from Mr. Singh. So 6 drive-throughs just today. Oh! Oh, no, man.
Nirma about having the race of his life. At this point, if one more driver DNFs, as long as he finished the race, you're getting a point. So,
I think with the point structure, I think it was top 15, wasn't it? So as it stand, as it stood, I think everyone had a point, but I think
yes,
they
you
just
have a
said
point,
no.
but you won't be competitive for the final spot on the championship. So, if you're in the top 10, I would say you might fare much better in the final standings of the championship.
And I think Eric Griffin still having those connection gremlins. He's just dropping on and off, so he's not having a good race for reasons of his own. So not really helping his case.
As we now go into the dying few moments of the race, since people will now be playing catch up with the safety car, and if they cannot do it in 3 laps, we will have a safety car in, regardless of the drivers if have the catch up or not. As Eric Griffin is still having the connection issues? Question mark.
I think it looks like the banner just appearing, saying his name is just going in and out. So not really sure.
I think the guy personally, he's having some issues with his game. Lobby link apparently tells him that the session no longer exists. So I tried inviting him myself, but then he's still having an issue. So yeah, maybe the game, maybe his internet. I don't know.
Sad reacts only for Eric Griffin at this point.
For our viewers as well, for sitting through 45 minutes just to look at the safety car go around the Marina Bay Street Circuit.
Safety car around Marina Bay goes round and round, round and round, round and round. The safety car around Marina Bay goes round and round. Entirety of Tier-2 race.
Oh, and yeah, Eric Griffin's AI has decided to pit him.
There you go.
I wonder which tire he's going to go on though. Let's see. Oh, wets again.
Good strategy call. Good, that's a good.
So
That's a race winning strategy from the AI of Eric Griffin.
so if the conditions are going to change now in the next 3 or 4 laps, wink wink. Eric Griffin's pretty much. I mean, he's not driving anyway, and he's. I don't think he's gonna get any points even if he rejoins this race because I guess he's.
Driver has to complete 75% of the race by himself. So.
Yeah, and from what I've seen so far, the 10 out of the 12 laps that have happened today have been done by his AI. So yeah, he's it's better. It's better if it's kind of pretty much pointless for him to join at this moment.
Yeah, I mean it's a very sad end to his race because I mean he did seem to have a lot of pace, but just not. I mean he had the pace on track, but unfortunately his internet didn't have the pace to do it. So
yeah,
it's just really bad.
Just not the internet trick that he had. Sadly. Yeah, but then you never know. It's a P2P connection that the game relies on. So for some the connection between the host and the driver, as more on that later. The safety car is going inside. I'll let you guys take it away.
Alright, so this is the third safety car restart that Steel's niece is going to be controlling. And let's see if Satik Reddy has learned a few tricks from what his teammate has been doing. Although they're teammates, so I'm not sure if they're going to be attacking each other. But then again, at the end of the day, it's all every man for himself. So let's see what's the whole strategy behind the restart right now.
Let's keep an eye on Solo again because he's not been having good time in the under safety car restarts. The last one went pretty well for him, at least in terms of not crashing out or having an incident with another driver. Well, now it's a Ferrari 1-2. Aaron Gavin has now moved out of the Ferrari sandwich. It's a Ferrari 1-2. As now, Steel Sneeze takes us away again for the third time on the safety car. It seems good as of now. The Alpine in P4, Neon P5. Drivers will now have much more space, as I think the the Alpha Tower is going wheel to wheel, with one having a DT, the other one just trying to overtake.
Yeah,
Nirvana,
especially they
no,
were
it
going
was
side by side to that final corner shot that we just saw. So yeah, they are going to be stopping it out for position, but I don't think they need to fight because Mr. Singh has got a DT and it's pointless for him to fight and hold back his teammate. But again, as I just said earlier, it's everyone for himself, and they're just going to be racing for whatever that they could prove. So you never know. All those things just go out the window. Oh, and that was too close for comfort. Dante Adams almost doing a pit maneuver on Neon there. That was very close for comfort. So he's gonna be keeping an eye out for that. But he does look a bit racy. He's trying to get the move on, and let's see where he chooses to pick the move because he needs to be a bit careful on where he does it. We don't want another crash or a yellow flag at this point. So he needs to be a bit measured with his attacks right now. And once again, going a little too close, getting hot on the brakes. And now it's all about the traction. It's all about what kind of exit you're going to get because it's a very traction heavy zone. And we got another yellow flag, I think that to worry about. Just a slow down car, I feel like. Never mind.
yes, it is a slowed down car, considering it's at 0 kmph right now, as the Alfa Romeo of New.
I think the nature of this corner is really catching up people because it looks like a 90-degree corner, but it is more than a 90-degree corner. It just turns sharp, and a lot of times you just end up just going straight without any of the turn. And yeah, we got one full green flag racing lap. So yes.
As we both the McLarens not having a good time, Nirvana with the drive-through, Dante Adams, whose front wing has just ceased to exist at this point. Arjun Senapati P4 the 5 seconds time penalty, chasing Aaron Kevin for the P3. It seems Aaron Kevin's going to be flying off at this point, and even with the 5 seconds time penalty, Arjun is not going to be finishing P3 or in the podium.
I mean, you never know. There's still some way to go. There is still a dry phase of the race yet to be completed. So you never
Does
know.
Dante Adam get a drive-through or 5 seconds penalty speeding? Let us see.
I think you would have got a 5 seconds if you the moment he entered the pit. So if you didn't get it, then probably he was all in the clear. So all good.
As we have finally finished half of the race, we shall now congratulate ourselves and the Tier-2 drivers for the 3 safety cars they gave us. Parth will now in our comment section be looking for the other 2 safety cars.
We had almost another one there.
We are not playing dirt rally or Senapati. Please keep it on track in the race for the podium.
That was almost close to the 4th safety car there because he was pointing at the wall for a short period of time. And yeah, he's got to be careful with the traction. It's still pouring down, and he's still. That was so painful to watch. Not going to lie. And we're going side by side here, and Solo barely just managed to get away with it and missed. Kudos for him. He gave just enough racing room, didn't push him into the wall. It's so easy to do that over there, but yeah, they just both get going. That's nice to see. And not so much for the other AlphaTauri who just gone into the wall right now, and he's lost his front wing entirely, which is not a good thing to see. And Arjun Chinapati has gone into the pits. Probably, I think he's gone in to repair the wing damage that he just sustained in that little crash in that turn. So should be going for a regulation wing change. But although, I mean, if you're going to take the hint that SSG just gave us, this might be a very tricky time to pit, considering that there could be a transition coming up any moment now, and he's gone into a set of pits again. So up front, Steel Sneeze, Satvik Reddy, they seem to be managing to be sticking to 1 second of each other. They're just going on. I think they are in communication with each other, so they seem to be working together as it stands right now. But we'll have to see if this communication holds on till the end of the race. And Steel Sneeze is going a little wide over there, a little too close for comfort, but keeps it on track. Nothing so far. and they're still riding in formation as it stands. They're 6 seconds clear of Aaron Gavin as it stands right now. So looking good for the Ferrari 1-2. Not something that I thought I would say in real racing, but it is what it is. Ferrari 1-2.
While Nirma takes a breather, I will accompany you. And yeah, oh no, as I just said it, Arjun Senapati goes for a wild send into the rear of Dante Adams. And hopefully that's no SC or VSC, because I think we probably have filled out the quota for the maximum number of SCs and VSCs for a single race, at least under radio safety car settings. But Steel Sneeze looks to be struggling for traction. He's going off wide everywhere. I think he's probably accumulated light green wing damage. He's going very slowly through the corners, and also as Swatik Reddy makes another mistake. If he had just got the traction right, he could have made a move on him. But yeah, that was not to be the case, unfortunately.
Yeah, the conditions are still looking to be tough for his driver to handle, because he's been, like you're pointing out, was going wide in a lot of corners, and we got a McLaren that has had a contact. Was just gone into the corner.
That was Dante Adams, and Arjun Senapati has retired.
That particular corner seems to be catching out every single driver over there, just locking up the wheels and going straight into that corner wall, which is jutting out. So it's catching out every single driver right now, and we don't have a safety car. His car just magically disappears. The master is just doing some magic tricks out there to make the car go out. And we are back to the leading pair, who seems to be having their own issues here and there. He's going wide every now and then, and Sathik Reddy trying to get too eager on the throttle and messing up his traction, and thereby losing his chances. But they seem to be close enough. Are they going to be fighting with each other? Are they going to see a fight right now? I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to what you said, every man for himself. They have to fight. They have to bring the excitement back onto the stream, where we only have 3 safety cars at this point. We only 2 drivers who are having an exciting battle right now. Still, Sneeze 94 and South Africa. As both of them go very close, but still Sneeze seem to go much more closer than Sadhvik. Seems to still keep it on track and speed off into the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, that corner seems to be the kryptonite of all the drivers right now. The nature of the corner being a very sharp right-hander, it's really catching them all out. So I really don't. I think we'll be seeing a lot more crashes, but I really hope we don't see more.
As now we kind of settle into the battle, still 5 tenths away. No DRS to support, so it's all going to be on race pace and a bit of slipstream as well. As long as you can keep the traction down on the exit, and just as I mentioned, I'm just going to keep them out shit at this point.
Yeah, this seems to be a recurring pattern. And Neon seems to have lost his front wing entirely out of the Anderson Bridge section. So, yeah, there seems to be a lot of front wings being, put under the track today. And Mr. Singh is getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so probably is going to serve as DT, and now he's got another 5 seconds to his name. And these Ferraris are still glued to each other. They're getting close, but one of them does a mistake and it all just falls apart. But let's see. Oh, and we see that Sathik almost losing it again, but good car control. He's just riding it on the edge over there. He's very much flirting with danger here right now, just pushing it to the absolute limits as it stands.
And there was the mistake that Sathik was looking for. If he can just keep it much more closer, he can't.
He's going for a switchback line?
On the outside, cannot switch back on the greasy track. What do you think if he sent on the inside? What do you think? What would have happened? I think they would have just slid off into the horizon.
No, I think Sathik was setting for a switchback, but unfortunately it was a bit too hot and he just overshot the switchback point, so that was not working there.
The drivers are keeping it very close. There might be an incident any time on the horizon.
Yeah, these 2 drivers are going very close to the walls. Considering it's a wet track and everything, you don't see drivers doing that quite often, but these 2 guys are willing to risk it all by the looks of it.
In our chat, Karthikeyan says, Bird Maylander driver of the day. What's your opinion?
Of course, yes, and I think Bert Mylander is done with his pay. He's being paid for 3 safety car trips and it's all done, so he is not going to come out by the looks of it. So, yeah. Sathik again having those little twitchy moments on throttle there, so He's definitely wrestling his car left, right, and center. So it really looks like he's having a tough time. And we see another AlphaTauri that's stranded. Mr. Singh, he goes another front wing. So yeah, definitely wet weather not helping any of our drivers here. I think we're having a really, really tough time out there.
If he was in a real team right now, that team would have gone bankrupt trying to just change front wings.
Yeah, I think almost all of the teams except Ferrari would have gone bankrupt in this race alone with the amount of funding that they had to bring in. So, I don't know.
Not the race that any of the drivers in Tier 2 expected, and if Tier 1 drivers are watching the stream, they might be bracing themselves for what's going to be a chaotic Tier 1 Singapore race, which is also going to happen later tonight. So stay tuned for that. As we see that the Grid is trying to set up for an overtake, but then still in teams is keeping it hanging in there. 30 more laps to go.
Yeah, it is. I mean, oh, he's going for an audacious send and he goes into the wall and he
there
is
you go.
out.
And he has retired. And Steven Seas is going to say thank you very much. But he also has a damaged front wing. So Aaron Gavin is going to say thank you very much at this point for the race win.
Ferrari moment. Record caught in 4K. 1080p.
That was a certified Ferrari moment, got to say, because I mean I don't know that the move was still not on. Satvik was doing really well to keep the pressure up on Steele's knees, and he just needed to be patient and keep doing what he was doing earlier. But I think he just lost his cool and went for an audacious send into that corner that did not end well for both of the Ferraris there.
Aaron Gavin, who was in the Ferrari sandwich initially and then went down to P3, getting attacked on by.
Okay, I guess Samad just got called back. If you guys don't know, Samad is Nirma's actual name. So let's leave him to his family commitments. And right now, see another retirement, a McLaren of Nirvana going into a corner, and he has also retired from the race. His drivers are dropping like flies here, man. So he just got 8 people on track as it stands.
It's a sad day for people here.
And make that the 7th because Mr. Singh has been disqualified for parked in a dangerous location.
As his AI takes over, doing much more dangerous things than what Mr. Singh was doing. And let's see what the AI does for Mr. Singh.
You know, this race has been ridiculously crazy. That the AlphaTauri was struggling in the back is leading the race right now. Mist is leading the race right now.
And Solo's driving without a front wing. Yeah, I honestly I don't know what we should do because yeah, it's been utterly shambles right from the start. I'm like with every passing second I'm contemplating whether we should continue the stream or not because yeah, it's not a good showing that is being put out today.
Strong
Yeah,
words
this
indeed.
definitely is not the kind of standards we were expecting. I mean, we were expecting a few crashes here and there, but this seems to be like complete shambles, like SJ said. So, yeah, not a good look as it stands. So we started with 15 drivers, and right now only 6 drivers stand to score point towards Eric Griffin. Start is still on AI, so we really don't consider them. So we've got 6 drivers who could score points today. That's all it is, which is not a good picture.
Yep, not a good picture. Probably driver's briefing coming up in the for these boys because I mean this is just part of what the Challenger series has in store, and if you know if the drivers haven't seen the calendar yet, we've still got Monaco left, and Monaco by itself is done in challenging conditions. Let's say that if the conditions are going to be similar to what we're seeing today in Singapore, it's gonna be it's gonna be hell for these guys.
Okay, looks like Solo has taken some initiative to get back. He has gone onto the intermediate tires. So, are we seeing a transition right now, SSJ?
Rain looks like it has died down a lot. Maybe if I could, yeah, it has died down. It has died down. I mean, the droplets are significantly lesser. So yeah, maybe Solo has managed to salvage something. You never know. He will, for a brief period, gain a massive pace advantage over the other drivers in front. But he's got a lot of catching up to do. And as far as I know, a pit stop is worth around 25 seconds in Singapore, considering the pit lane speed limit as well as the pit entry and exit. So maybe he could catch up, maybe to at least to Eric Griffin and secure a P4, but it'll be tough. He has to, keep himself calm and collected, not make any mistakes. By far of which he's been doing a lot.
Yeah, and seriously, seems to be on a mission right now to get back to where he was. He's setting a purple lap, and he's definitely pushing as much as he could to get back up front. So, yeah, gonna be interesting to see what kind of pace he's gonna be setting.
Well, Steels didn't pit much long ago, so it's gonna be a bad timing for Steels as well. I think it's just gone for Steels since he has to pit again regardless. Solo, I think the best he can do is P4, maybe P3 with the deltas he has in place. And missed out of nowhere, like we mentioned a few laps ago, it's P1, Aaron Gavin still P2, possibly P1 off or grabs if he pulls off an Ocon, but then with 20 laps and 10 more laps to go, is it possible? I don't know. And Neon finally catching up to a car he can battle with. The 8th lap widths of the P6 Dante in the McLaren. And never mind, Neon is slowing down. As he goes into the pits, slides around. It's not a race that you would want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the drivers have realized that it's Inter's conditions and they're pitting on to Inter's now. So that's why they're pitting. But either way, yeah, I mean, with the current game, braking is a little sketchy, even if you're on ABS, because even if you run 56, 50, 57 brake bias, your rears will still slide around quite a lot. So yeah, that's I think what we just saw there, while Leon was trying to get his car stopped. So the gaps, have we ever seen such massive gaps between every driver? I mean, apart from Dante Adams, oh, there we go. So take a screenshot of this, boys. We've officially hit a trademark, a milestone where the gap between every driver on the grid is now, well, I would say 2 digits, but then we're seeing 5 digits here after the decimal point. So, yeah.
You know what I would want right now? A safety car. But
yeah,
I'm really not sure if I get one right now because
we've used up
we have gone work out our safety cars for the day. So.
Safety
Quite
car.
sad.
Yeah, Burnt Maylander has decided not to work overtime because he's not getting paid anyway, as if we are in the com box. But still, we do our work. But Burnt Maylander is not as considerate as us.
I mean, going back to the chat, Parth mentioned that I predicted 3 DNFs. And oh my god, that DNF list looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah, the attrition rate is more than 50% today. It's actually, we've actually got 6-7 DNFs and a DSQ. So, DNF and DSQ aren't the same thing, are they?
Taking the bottom of the battle, are we?
I mean, I'm just trying to come up with some content because this race is boring as hell right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're not seeing any drivers close enough. So the race leaders are pitted, Mist and Aaron Gavin. Mist and Seals actually are pitted, so they're going on to the set of inters. But again, the gaps are not close enough to see any kind of battles going on, so it's going to take a lot of skill difference to get the gap down. So far, Aaron Gavin seems to be doing a good job of it. He seems to be cutting down on the gap on Mist. So we might be seeing some kind of redeeming scrap going on, but let's see. I don't want to get too far ahead.
Well, it looks like Aaron, the skill gap is quite massive. Look at that. He's gained more than I think he gained 2 seconds just through the first few corners.
Yeah, looks like it. I guess Mist is probably taking it. I think Mist just now pitted and came out.
Yeah,
so Aaron
exactly.
Gavin seems to be having a lap advantage. So the tires are very much offset in terms of the tire time. So Mist is probably just tiptoeing around the track, making sure he just stays within, not makes any contact with the wall until the tire gets up to temp. So probably that is contributing to it, but still that's a massive cut down on the gap.
Yeah. Well, this gap was the gap started at 2.2 seconds in the starting of this lap, and it's already down to 1.7, and I'm predicting it to go down even further by the end of this lap. As you can see, yeah, so it was 1.7 before the corner. It's now 1.6. So yeah, the gap is going down quite quickly, and I would say the striking distance is another 2 laps.
Yeah, striking distance powered by SSJ.
Powered by SSJ Assassin, because I'm not doing anything else right now other than chewing on some cold mutton biryani.
There you go. You just undermined mutton biryani. Wait a second.
Okay, Aaron Gavin has set the fastest lap of the session, so he definitely seems to be making the most of what he has right now. But it seems like Mist has shortly gained a little bit because the gap went from 1.6 to 2 seconds, but I think it's just a short, probably just a small mistake or something of that sort, or maybe a ERS outburst from Mist. But so far it looks like the gaps are kind of stabilizing a little bit as it stands.
Yeah, but Aaron Gavin is making a lot of mistakes. So you can see he's going wide in the motor corner.
Yes.
And turn 1, turn 2 as well. So yeah, although he just needs to make sure to keep it clean, because he's definitely got the pace. Just that the consistency is not there. Probably that the pressure is getting to his head.
Could we have a look at the ERS levels of both the drivers?
Ah, there we go. Oh, no one's using their ERS. How strange.
Interesting.
Yep. You don't have to be hesitant, boys. You will lift and coast considerably throughout the circuit, so you will gain much more ERS than you normally would in the dries. So go all out. Do something.
Considering it's the last few laps, it's interesting to see that the ERS results are still at close to 100% from both the drivers. It's quite interesting to see.
Okay, Masoom asking a very important question that we should be asking ourselves. Does IRC provide material in its commentators? If yes, why is it cold?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Masoom has got an admin living alongside him, so he could ask him what's going on with the commentators. And I could say there is nothing being done. So, yeah.
What if I get an admin living beside me as well?
I don't know.
Yeah, admin
But anyway.
privilege you would get is nicknaming people.
I'll take that. Nicknaming 2,000 people of Discord in IRC. Also, sliding into the conversation, please join our Discord. Link will be in the description.
Okay, so looks like Mist has, caught up to the pace, and the previous lap was a fast lap set by Mist, so he's definitely not backing out of this soon enough. Could you have a look at Mist ERS levels, or is he still just holding the ERS? Because Aaron Gavin seems to be holding it. Mist seems to be using it a little bit comparatively, so Aaron Gavin needs to step up the ERS game, or probably he just. It kind of looks like these guys are playing a game of who blinks first with their ERS reserves right now.
Yeah, but then I'm not sure if the boys are aware that the ERS regen is considerably higher in the wet conditions, as Mist seems to have made a mistake and lost almost half a second. And we have yellow flags in sector 1 from an Alfa Romeo, and that's Neon, who's brushing against the wall as he tries to get back onto the track. About to be overtaken by the leading pack. Yep, so that's Dante Adams, who's just up ahead, about to be the first car to be overtaken about to be lapped. So
Wow.
yeah, surprising that.
Yeah, we have a left car and he just swerves out of the way. Can Aaron Gavin get the race win from Mist?
Yeah, looks very likely because yeah, he's just losing more time now, from 1.5 to 1.3 seconds every now and then. Now looks like Aaron Gavin went a little wide in that corner, in the moto corner, and yeah, it's just going up and down with every corner, and yeah, it's back to 1.8 seconds again. So yeah, both the drivers showing not so good consistency in their racecraft. No, sorry, not racecraft. The driving.
Yeah, like I said, there seems to be mistakes going back and forth between both of these drivers, and yeah, one thing that I'm again noticing is that the reluctancy to use ERS on straights to get it up. I think probably that is because they're struggling on the braking zones. So I think they're trying to compensate for that by reducing the top speed, but I think it's overall killing their chances of catching up.
And Aaron Gavin has probably made his first track limits infringement from what we've seen, and the gap has fallen down further into the 2.3 second margin now. And I think I have a reason as to why. Has it rained completely? Never mind. Anyway, a reason as to why they're hesitant to use ERS, because they might be finding a little bit of trouble in the traction. So maybe they're just too scared at this point. Except for the straight which they will be approaching now, is probably, and of course the reworked straight, of course. Apart from these two areas, I don't see many places where they can use ERS. As Mist is starting to pull the gap even further and is approaching, just skimming along that 3 second zone. So maybe the win is already in Mist's books.
Yeah, it looks like it. It seems like Mist has delivered the decisive blow, but again, we still got 4 laps of this Singapore track, and we know Singapore track is notorious for throwing curveballs at us. So I would not completely write Aaron Gavin off the books yet.
Yeah, neither would I. But then, yeah, we as a streamer or a commentator or a viewer in general, you don't want anything bad to happen to you, to a driver, unless not gonna say unless we just hope that he manages to keep it together. And moving on from there, we've got Solo, who's on whom we've not been focused on for a while, as I just
me to go on board.
Just cursed the hell out of him, and he gets a 3 second time penalty. And yeah, I was just gonna say that he's managed to pull down the gap between himself and the AI car of Eric Griffin, whose result won't be counted, so that might push up Solo to a position higher. But I am not sure how it will work, how it would work on the coordinating end, whether Solo would still keep his P5 position, just that Eric Griffin's result will be nullified, or whether all the drivers below Eric Griffin would get promoted by one position. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, as Mist looks like he's made a huge mistake and he's lost a second to Aaron Gavin, or Aaron Gavin has decided to start dumping his ERS.
So Mist, look at his ERS levels, gone down to say 57. This is the first time I'm seeing the ERS at the halfway point. So yeah, these guys are definitely done with their ERS games and they're not starting to use it properly.
Yes, indeed. As traction improves, with the track improvement. I think the drivers are getting these two drivers at least are getting a little more confidence to go on the RS.
Right now, Mist is in an Alfa Romeo sandwich with a lap car of Neon up front and Aaron Gavin chasing him from the back for the win.
Oh yes, of course. We got. It looked like Neon just went and hit the wall there, or he was brushing against the wall.
I think he was just giving way for the lead car. Looks like.
Yeah, but maybe he was a little too courteous.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't need to be that courteous, but anyway, it's all good.
Oh, and the gap has dropped down even further. It's less than a second now. Oh, never mind. Oh, there it goes back below, further down again. It's sitting at 0.7 seconds now. Gavin has got significantly more ERS still, whereas Mist is down to less than half. Oh, as Mist makes a costly mistake and loses his position, and that's the mistake that I've been telling about, that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it seems like Aaron Kevin was much more comfortable in that pace, whereas Mist had to push a lot more beyond his limits to get to that pace, and I think eventually it caught up and he did a mistake. That was a good effort though, but again, just got a little too eager on throttle, and that cost him what could have been a good race win if he had held on.
Yep. Now Aaron Gavin has to ensure that he doesn't repeat what Mist just did, and keep himself calm, cool, and collected, and just drive for another 3.5 odd laps, 2.5 laps, and make it to the finish line.
I think Aaron Gavin has been much more comfortable running this pace. I think he should be in the clear as it stands.
Yep, but then we've also seen him missing a few apexes here and there, as you can see, we saw just now. He made a small mistake out of the Anderson Bridge section, and he lost about 2/10 there, and he's losing a little more time now. But then that's just Mist dumping his ERS a little bit.
Right now, the only thing these drivers have to be careful of is track limits, because that seems to be another point that could play a spoil sport in their chance to challenge for a win. Because I think they have a few warnings on the names, I think, so they need to be a bit more careful of that.
Maybe we can check that right now. Mist is sitting on 2 warnings. Okay, so 1 more warning and he's gonna get a penalty. Aaron Gavin looks to be, he's in a relatively more comfortable position. So Mist just needs to make sure not to make any more mistakes, and he'd better start praying to all the gods that he knows that Aaron Gavin makes a mistake, so that he can secure possibly his first win in IRC, I think.
Before we go to the end of the race, Spark Patel with a beautiful message in the chat. It wasn't a missed take, it was a missed give, as he gave a green.
Was that from Parth?
Yes.
Yeah. Only Parth can make jokes like this. I legit didn't see the chat, by the way. I just guessed that it might have been Parth.
If you want to make jokes like this as well, join the IRC Discord.
I guess there was no rain on his humor because all the rain was in Singapore.
Oh, well, we finally have a yellow flag after such a long time, and that's from Neon, going and inspecting that Rolex board over there. Make sure it's standing up sturdy, and looks sturdy enough, as he's gone and given that front wing of his. Maybe, I don't know. I think I saw.
Yeah, there was a loose end plate.
Yeah,
over there, so
his right end plate is gone.
Okay, up front the gap is at 1.4.
Yeah, sorry.
Mist seems to be throwing all that he has, but I don't think that's going to be enough to catch Aaron Gavin, who seems to be running a much more comfortable levels of pace right now. Could you go on board Aaron Gavin?
Oh.
Yeah. He is running in a much more comfortable level, just not banking too much on his ERS. Meanwhile, Mist has to explode a lot of his ERS just to be within that gap. So, Aaron Gavin clearly has this in the bag. He just needs to bring this home safe. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, I'd say that Aaron Gavin has it in the bag. yeah, nothing can possibly nothing can go wrong now, can it?
That had a lot of connotations in it, but let's just
No, I mean, I wouldn't want anything to go wrong for Aaron Gavin right now.
well, we just saw a lot of stuff going wrong at start. Let's see if everything goes good, and then he just almost goes close to the wall. So nothing wrong happening there. Just keeps it good.
Yeah, maybe he was just trying to extract as much time as possible out of it, out of that corner.
Just few more corners to go for Aaron Gavin to celebrate his victory in what has been an absolutely chaotic race. I mean, I think chaotic just doesn't cut it. There's like a lot happening. Not a lot of things that were really good to see, but eventually these drivers stood the test of it and somehow managed to keep it clean. So, and yeah, Aaron Gavin wins a tough race of attrition today, and he crosses the line in P1.
Followed by Miss in P2, who put on a valiant effort, but in the end, because of that, a small erroneous moment finishes off in P2.
Steve's knees
Uh,
crosses the line and does
in
some antics over there.
fantastic style too, and yeah, the next driver to cross is Eric Griffin.
Eric Griffin's AI car, who's a minute behind, so a lot of distance to catch up, and some more carbon fiber flying. Danteano just throwing his fronting in celebration of his fellow drivers finishing
I
the race.
remember doing what Steel Sneeze did in Hanoi. No, sorry, correction.
Oh no, he's
No.
killed
And
himself.
that's exactly
No,
what he did. Like,
come on,
before the
brother.
start finish line.
Nah,
And
I mean his position should still stand though, because he's done more than 75% of the race.
more than what Eric Griffin did.
Yeah, more than what Eric Griffin did. So
But still, I mean, if you're going to do 31 laps of such a tough race, why do you want to clean up the last lap?
He
That's
rather
so
wanted
painful.
to end quickly than do a half a lap more.
yeah, maybe his girlfriend just called him and he had to go.
No, SSC, not everyone has a girlfriend. Someone just wants to eat a hot chicken biryani instead of a mutton biryani.
Yeah, I'm having a cold mutton biryani, by the way.
Yes,
because
Arthur pointed that out. He sounds that it sounds very wet, and that he is getting biryani as ASMR from you in the chat.
he's living in the land of biryanis. He should go get one for himself. But more on that later. Maybe we'll do something.
Rohit Shekhar saying that trying to will on the commentators curse Andhya. Yes, we have had that. While going on for the traction, the point of people losing traction while driving, we have seen Satvik lose traction multiple times and then just going for a full send, which was caught on 1080p on the stream, which I believe will be a very memeable moment in the IRC Discord. While we go down to the limited people who actually finished the race. Yes, while we do a speedrun of this, where would we?
Yeah, I think Steels needs to be a bit disappointed because he seemed to have had the measure of the pace. He was much more comfortable until that dive bomb from Satvik really sent him into the wall. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a race to forget for all of the tier 2 drivers out there who definitely be looking back at this with I don't know what to say, but definitely they're going to have to be doing better. I think they will do better for the next rounds, but this is definitely something that they're going to have to purge for their memories.
Here it says that Satvik Reddy has done 30 laps. Although I think that he DNF'd much earlier on.
I mean,
the
he
leader.
DNF'd that
Yeah, the leaderboard is. Yeah, the race director is bugged, man. I give up. I really give up. Let's just move on to the race results. And yeah, that's also done with. So on to our podium interviews. Aaron, that's Aaron, Gavin, Miss, and Steel Sneeze. Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys handle the podium interviews. I've got somewhere to go, so we'll see you guys later. It's been a chaotic race to say the least. So,
Are there
yeah,
podium
on to you
interviews?
guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, are there podium interviews or what?
Yes. Just stay here. The commentators will
Oh,
be
okay, okay,
running
okay.
it.
This is the one.
The drivers are the uh, drivers are taking a bit to join the combox. So in the meantime, let's just go ahead with the podium interviews with who the sole driver, the race winner for today, who's the only driver from the podium in the combox. So Aaron Gavin, congratulations on the win. It was a very tough race, probably for you, definitely for you to drive, and for us spectators to watch as well, because it was absolute chaos out there. So
Yeah.
talk us through your experience.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't have good pace on the wets, which was very evident. The two Ferraris were very quick on the wets, and yeah, they were quick overall, the Ferraris. But once the rain started like reducing, but then luckily the Ferrari pit for the wets before pitting to the inters, so he basically did like two stops. So that is where I think I had an advantage, where I just had to do one stop, go directly from the wets to the inters. So that is where I gained that lead on the Ferrari. But Mist was very quick on the wets. Like in the wets, he was quite quick. But then when it came to inters, I don't know, my pace suddenly uh, came back to life. Then I started closing in on Mist. Then Mist kind of got oversteered in one corner. Then I took the lead. So it was a very chaotic race. And Satvik also DNF'd, so that was another plus point for our team.
Yeah, we all saw that in the stream as
Yeah.
well. Satvik just went for a suicide dive bomb onto his teammate and ended up destroying both of their races. So
Yeah.
maybe that certainly will be a report coming from Steel Sneeze. But yeah, I did notice that after Mist made his pit stop onto the Inters, and while you were chasing him,
Yeah.
you made a few mistakes, like because the gaps were going up and down. Although, so you had the pace.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of getting used to the inter atmosphere.
Yeah.
The track, I was kind of getting used to it. So, yeah, I was learning the track
So
and making quite a few mistakes. So,
yeah,
yeah, it
skip.
was a good race.
You decided to skip practice and
Yeah,
leave all the practicing for the main race, but it
yeah,
paid off anyway.
I practiced on the dries. That is the thing.
Ah, of course. So
Yeah,
better make sure to be prepared for the next few races, because it is the Challenger series after all, and you are expected to be quote unquote challenged,
yeah,
uh, even if it's for your will to live.
yep,
But yeah, congratulations to you
yep.
once
Thank
again.
you.
And moving on to our P2 winner, P2 finisher for today, Mr. So quite a brilliant drive from you today, right until the I think lap 28. Um, talk us through your race, my friend.
Good
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
There you go. Is he speaking?
No,
Just
I
quick
think
check.
he is. He just unmuted, but then we can't hear him. So if you have anything to say, just DM me. I will speak it, narrate it in the com box. Just you know, type in your thoughts in today's race. Yep, missed is having connection microphone issues, so we'll just congratulate him for the P2 finish and move on. Unfortunately, our P3 finisher has not joined us. I think he is a little busy with a real life commitment, so we'll just end our podium interviews today for today by congratulating all the podium finishers as well as all the rest of the drivers who managed to finish the race as well. They certainly deserve a huge round of applause just for doing that. And fret not, we still have a lot more chaos left for today in Tier 1, which will be at 8 p.m. IST. So make sure to stay tuned in for that. Hit the like and hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to press that bell icon to keep updated on our live streams as well as videos that we post. And yep, that's it from me, Sir SSG Assassin, your streamer / commentator for today, and for my co-commentator Nirma, wishing you all a good evening and goodbye.